Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. Happy holidays. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. This is live stream 733. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out that we're just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So nothing, too crazy. Not taking on rocket surgery or any stretch of the imagination like that. But we're just hanging out, having some fun. So if you're not familiar with the show's format, it is essentially a bit of tabletop gaming news and then a look at a game. Every once in a while, I'll actually do a live review. But tonight, we are going to unbox and take a first look at Undaunted reinforcements from Osprey Games. Yes, this is just heading out. As you can see, if you're familiar with the Undaunted line of games, this box is quite a bit larger. So I believe that this is also a storage solution as well if you have both Normandy and North Africa. I'm not positive, but I think that is the case. So we're going to be taking a look at that in just a bit. Do want to mention that if you are tuning in because you want to see the unboxing, if you're watching live, it'll be about 30 minutes because we always tackle the tabletop gaming news first. But if you're watching after the fact, say 30 minutes or more after the stream ends, there will be timestamps. So if you want to just jump right to the unboxing, you can do that as well. Do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. It'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as this weekend's upcoming review of the RuneQuest starter set from Chaosium Entertainment. And I have no idea why that video just froze up there for a second. What's up with that? I just saw out of the corner of my eye. Like, what's going on there? Better not be messing up. Yeah, I actually have to start taking a peek at streaming directly from the cameras and not using capture devices, because during the pandemic, all this software came out that you don't have to use capture devices like Elgato anymore. And I would like to take a peek at that, because sometimes the Elgato, especially with the overhead camera lately, it has been a little hit or miss. Like, I noticed it was kind of fritzing on me earlier, so better not be doing it now. Anyway, should mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Finally, this is a live stream. So if you are watching, chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, because you do have to be a subscriber for at least 48 hours before you can comment in chat. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, please chime in. I will do my best to respond. So far tonight, we have I believe this is the first time that we have seen join us in chat. Welcome aboard. Merry Christmas to you as well. Mr. Eddie T is with us, which should mean that Sarah D probably is not far behind or watching in the other room. And Omanal is with us as well. So we got chat off and running. Let me fix something here. My chat window was the wrong size. So if you notice early on while I was talking, I was kind of like looking over. I'm like, oh, crap, I forgot to resize the chat window. So it would be covering up part of the teleprompter that I used to give you the news. So I was like, I got to make sure that I fix that. All righty. Okie dokie. So tonight is the last episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch for 2021. How about that? Yes. I didn't get any comments on yesterday's show that anybody wanted me to do the favorite games of 2021 video live. So that's okay. I mean, it was just fine. I'm used to it. Just shooting it, as a regular video, not doing a live stream. So that's fine. I have no problem with that. So that means tonight is the final episode of the Dispatch for the year. How about that? Kind of cool. All right, let's jump right on into the news, because hitting stores right after Christmas is the first of the Ruins of Arnak expansions, Expedition Leaders. Here's the skinny from Czech Games Edition. Return to the mysterious island of Arnak, or Arnak, as I like to call it, in Lost Ruins of Arnak, Expedition Leaders. Give your expedition an edge by choosing one of 6 unique leaders, each equipped with different abilities, skills, and starting decks that offer different strategies and styles of play for you to explore. In addition to the leader abilities, which bring a new element of asymmetry to the game, this expansion contains alternative research tracks that offer even more variety and a bigger challenge. New item and artifact cards create new combos and synergies, along with more guardians and assistants to meet and sites to explore. Lost Ruins of Arnak is for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays around 30 minutes per player. This expansion will carry an MSRP of $29.95. This was originally slated for a Gen Con release. And of course, with the disastrous shipping issues, it is finally arriving now. Hey, at least it's getting in before the end of the year. There was some, why is that saying czechgames.org? Czechgames.com. Yeah. I tell you, when I'm trying to put all this stuff together, there was a lot of stuff going on today. I'm surprised I even have news today, but it's personal life things. Nothing bad at all. It's just a lot of stuff going on, getting ready for the holidays, trying to get my dad's phone set up with a new carrier, and just crazy. Anywho, it is checkgames.com, not .org. I don't know how it got that last image. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, if you followed the Gaming Gang, you know that the Lost Ruins of Arnak was one of my favorite games that came out last year. It is excellent. I really have a good time with this. So does the rest of the gang as well. There isn't anybody I've played it with who has not really liked it. It is a little meatier than what some people expect going in, but it's not difficult to figure out at all. So it's very, very cool. And we've got a new expansion coming for it. I believe there might be another expansion that they were trying to slot in for 2022. Because my understanding, when I did my interview with Czech Games Edition at Gen Con, when I talked with Ray, she told me on camera that the focus for Czech Games for 2022 was going to be expansions, not necessarily new games. So, something to keep in mind. And yes, Merry Christmas to Mr. Eddie T and Omanal. And This About 92 has joined us in chat also. Very, very nice. Stay tuned. You're going to get to see a review from Omanal of the Rivendell book for the second edition of The One Ring. That is going to be up this weekend. That actually has been in my pocket for a while. I was just waiting for the review of either the starter set that I assigned to, I can't remember if it was Sammy or Kevin. It might have been Kevin, or the core book, which I assigned, I believe it was to Sammy. Because I thought, well, it'd be really weird if I post the review for Rivendell, but we haven't reviewed either of the core components to use it. All right. Moving right along so we don't have to see that czechgames.org again. Arriving from Ryder Games later on this month, also right after Christmas, is Final Girl. Here's what I know. Playing on a famous horror movie trope, Final Girl is a solitaire-only game that puts the player in the shoes of a female protagonist who must kill the slasher if she wants to survive. The core box, when combined with one of their feature film boxes, has everything you need to play the game. Each feature film box features, yeah, I guess it would. It's a feature film box featuring a unique killer and an iconic location. And the more feature films you have, the more killer location combinations you can experience. In game terms, Final Girl shares similarities with Hostage Negotiator, but with some key differences that change it up, including a game board to track locations and character movement. You can choose from multiple characters when picking someone to play, and multiple killers when picking someone to play against. Killers and locations each have their own specific tarot cards that will be shuffled together to create a unique experience with various combinations of scenarios for you to play. Final Girl, once again, is a solitaire game. It's for ages 14 and up, obviously enough. Plays around 30 to 45 minutes. And the core box and each feature film expansion carries an MSRP of $19.99. So this took a while for this to come out. Because I swear, I remember this kickstarting, and I thought it kickstarted in 2019. So, and of course, I mean, it's not unusual. We've had some issues with a lot of different stuff with production and, for, obviously enough, the shipping issues as well. So it's nice to see it out. Although I got to say, and I have no connection whatsoever with Ryder Games. I've never reviewed any of their releases or anything like that. I find two things about this weird. Number one, I find it strange that there's a core box that's $19.99 and you need it to play the game, but it's not actually the game. You have to actually buy one of the feature film expansions to play the game. I'm kind of surprised. And yes, I get it. I think in all, there's like 6 or 7 different expansions available. And I understand. Yeah, of course, sure. Ben Ryder would like to sell, those. But to me, it's just weird that they didn't just take one of those feature films, put it in the core box, and sell it as a core game for $39.99. I do not know. I do not know. The other thing I think is kind of strange, and maybe it's just me, but I find the fact that there's artwork of the final girls, like on the cover artwork on the boxes and things like that, and they look like they've been beat to shit. They're all like bruised and bloody, and I don't necessarily know if I want that on the cover of a board game. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being a little too sensitive here. And yes, of course, I get it. I understand. It's a horror game, but on the cover of the box, I don't know. But this could be pretty cool. So I wanted to share the news. So I thought it looked pretty interesting. All right. I very rarely talk about computer games, video games, PC games, things like that. Usually when I do, I'm talking about what's going on over at Epic Games. If you are not aware of this, right now, Epic Games every day through New Year's, you get a new free PC game. Normally it's every Thursday. You'll get 1, 2, sometimes 3 free PC games. Well, for the holiday season, and they did this last year as well, every single day there is a free PC game. The games they've released so far have been like, yeah, okay. But today is a pretty cool one, as Mr. Marmello has joined us in chat. I believe that's another first timer. Welcome aboard. Happy holidays to you. So today, and today only, until 10 a.m. tomorrow Central Time, you can score Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden from Bearded Ladies and Funcom. Here's the skinny. Explore a post-human Earth. From a team including former designers of Hitman and Payday comes Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, a tactical game that combines the turn-based combat of XCOM with real-time stealth and exploration of a post-human world reclaimed by nature and mutants. Of course, the world ends. Now it's over, and the Earth is still. Nature has invaded ruined cities. Wind sweeps through empty streets, turned into graveyards. The humans are all gone. Scavenging through the remains of civilization are the mutants, deformed humanoids and animals alike, searching for salvation or just something to eat. To survive, you and your companions must venture out and explore the zone. Then again, maybe it's all bullshit. Let's take a look at the launch trailer for Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. In case you have not encountered this game before, it's pretty short. It's a little more than a minute. So kick back, give it a peek.
Neutralize all mutant intruders.
Once again, you can get your hands on Mutant Year Zero, which obviously enough is based on the Free League Publishing role-playing game. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden can be scored without spending a single penny through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning Once again, that is 10 a.m. Central Time. And at 11 a.m., you will have a new game. So this is a very cool game. I have played this because I'm a big XCOM fan. And this was one of the free games they did last year. So if you enjoy PC gaming, say, I know we discussed this just last night. Sarah D, who's probably watching, is more a video gamer. Keep your eyes peeled on Epic Games if you weren't aware of it, because every day, doesn't matter if it's weekday, weekend, you're going to have a new free game. And last year, one of the games was actually Red Dead Redemption 2. I was like, and even at that point, it was like a $50 game, $60 game. And they gave it away for free for a single day. Of course, I scored it. There's no getting around that. That is for sure. So this is actually a very cool game. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't have any of the extra DLC, though. I'll be the first to point out. I don't have any of that. And it would have been pretty cool. So Andre D is asking, is the review for Undaunted done? We didn't. Well, for one, we're just doing an unboxing tonight for reinforcements. So it's not a review because I just got this. So I'm doing an unboxing. It's a first look. And there is a review for Undaunted Normandy. And there will soon be a review for Undaunted North Africa because I just got that. That just arrived last week. So I guess the fine folks over at Osprey Games wanted to make sure that I had that before they sent along reinforcements, because you'll find reinforcements is for both Normandy and North Africa. So let's move on to some role-playing game news. But before I do, Doug Roberts has joined us. Kevin Smith is with us as well. Sarah D says that her PC is already begging for mercy. And yes, Merry Christmas to you too, Sarah. And I think I am up to date. I think I've said hello to everybody. I think we're in good shape. So to answer Andre's question, it's not a review tonight. It's an unboxing, if that's what you're popping in for. And no, we have not gotten to it yet. We are wrapping up the news in just a few minutes, and then we will dive on in. Now in print and PDF from Imaginary Empire is the Japanese-themed Instruments of the Chrysanthemum Throne. I guarantee I'm going to mispronounce that at some point reading this sell sheet info. And here's what I know. Explore a world of myth and magic where you must balance the terrible evil of the sentient object you carry with the enormous power it grants. Japan is in turmoil. The balance between the natural elements has been shattered. Natural disasters ravage the land, and monsters from legend terrorize people. The greatest heroes of the age have tried and failed to overcome this supernatural catastrophe. Now, in desperation, the emperor reluctantly unleashes the most potent magical force at his disposal. The instruments of the Chrysanthemum Throne are a collection of powerful Tuskumogami, I think that's it, sentient objects that possess remarkable magical powers. They've been locked away for generations because of their abiding malice and hatred of people. Isn't that nice? Who will be brave or desperate enough to risk their life and sanity by taking up an instrument and using its power in the service of the Chrysanthemum Throne? The player's ease into character creation started with a short prologue using suggested prompts. As the game progresses, they develop more detail about their characters and the reasons that they're willing to risk everything in service of the Emperor. Players may also take the role of instruments from time to time, whispering suggestions to the characters that bear them and providing a constant reminder that the instruments are living things with their own agenda. To support a focus in character-driven role-playing, The game system is light touch. It draws from Japanese culture, incorporating a traditional dice gambling game with the use of lucky and unlucky numbers to resolve outcomes. On a deeper level, players are continuously incentivized to draw ever more power from their instruments in order to achieve greater success, and in doing so, risk losing control of their characters. Instruments of the Chrysanthemum Throne is intended to be played as 8 linked scenarios that tell a complete story. However, there are also options for groups who cannot make such a time commitment, including running a 5-episode series or even running the game as a single session. This 128-page hardcover is available at TTRPG, including the PDF, for $22.99, or you can grab the PDF alone for $9.99. I gotta say, this looks very interesting. Yes. Very, very interesting. It's sort of kind of a Japanese culture Stormbringer sort of thing. I think that'd be pretty wild. I also get a kick out of how the players actually will also take on the roles of some of the instruments that the other players, no doubt, carry with them. So that could be pretty wild. And I got to say, the artwork looks pretty good. It's got a very interesting looking character sheet, which is the final image that I'm going to share here. Let's wait for it to come back around. But for the hardcover through TTRPG, which we already know, their prices have gone up substantially for the printed materials. It's not a bad deal for the hardcover and PDF, $22.99. This is the character sheet that looks kind of interesting, where it looks as if it's a one-pager that has all the rules to the game for each of the players. So I thought that looks kind of cool as well. Once again, this is from Imaginary Empire Games. My final news piece, there's a new collection of spells for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. It's arrived in PDF from my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. And here's the deets on Blood and Bramble. Before ever Before ever Teclis pondered the notion of human wizards, and long before Magnus the Pious laid the foundation for the colleges of magic, there was still magic in the land that would become the empire. To the witch hunter, it is all base witchery, and its practitioners worthy of little consideration and a good deal of kindling. Those who know a little better recognize that there are distinctions to be made. Witchcraft is the shortest path to power, be it ever so soaked in blood, while the lure of hedgecraft is more subtle, its many paths disappearing into the brambles at the edge of civilization. Which sounds more appealing? Come closer and learn for yourself. Blood and Bramble is a collection of 24 new spells, a dozen each, from the lures of witchcraft and hedgecraft. These spells expand the offering found in the core WIFRIP rulebook substantially and greatly expand the capabilities of non-college practitioners. This PDF also includes each spell as a printable spell card, so you can easily add them to the magic already found in the WIFRIP rulebook. For the game master who wishes to use these new spells, a pair of NPCs are also provided. Old Mara of Diesdorf is a hedge witch who, when she forgets herself, claims to have seen Magnus the Pious in the flesh. Her counterpart is the elsewise witch of Guptenreich, a sheep farmer who found more coin in whispered spells than in shorn ewes. Both come with a detailed stat block, intriguing plot hooks, and a knowledge of arcane lore that could prove useful or deadly, depending on how they're approached. Blood and Bramble is the perfect addition to any player witch or hedge witch's arsenal, but can also be of use to GMs in creating NPC adversaries with unexpected magical abilities. This 22-page PDF of Blood and Bramble is available over at Drive-Thru RPG for $4.99. Cool. Always like to see new releases for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I got to say, I think they do a fantastic job with that role-playing game. Actually, C7 does a really good job with all of their products that they produce. Although I have not dove into the latest edition of Doctor Who, which I think we might get a chance to see when the latest edition arrives in print. So, Omanal says, okay, just downloaded Mutant Year Zero. Thanks for the heads up. Very welcome. All right, that is the news for tonight. The last two news pieces, I was talking about Drive-Thru RPG. So keep in mind that the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, be sure to stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you like the channel, if you like thegaminggang.com, if you like what the team and I do over at the Gaming Gang, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by going to paypal.me/thegaminggang.com. And big thank you to Russell Higgins, Clint Gibson, as well as the Madman for recent contributions they have made through that paypal.me link. And there are a lot of people who utilize those banner ads too, and I really, really appreciate that as well. Thank you very, very much. Also, do want to mention that I did make the donation to Extra Life today. And it was kind of weird because I have a page there. And I had to go through like a whole process to put like a new project up there. I thought it would have been just boom, I've done, charity streams in the past. Pow, here's the thing, just so I could share those information about the auction and then do the donation. And it wasn't. I had to spend like 10 minutes filling out all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, is this going to like create like a new account for me? But it didn't. I was like, all right, I don't know why you're having people jump through these hoops. It's kind of like, all right. Omanal says there is a bundle on Drive-Thru RPG to help victims of the tornadoes that hit Kentucky. Yeah, we had them. They hit Illinois too. That's where that Amazon warehouse was. I think it was 6 people lost their lives. So it is not something I am aware of. What I will do, I will take a peek and make sure that I get that news up on thegaminggang.com as well. So anyway, so I made the donation, and if you would like, by all means, you can feel free to go over to extralife.org. You can search for my name right there, Jeff McAleer, and you will see the donation of $325 had been made. Big thank you to Clint Gibson, Stephen Lightheart, Jeff Limerick, Angel McKenney, that Russell Higgins character that seems to pop up all the time. And I can't remember how, I don't know how to pronounce Gerard's last name. But thank you for taking part in the auction. And it was a 50-50 auction. So $325 has been donated to Extra Life. The reason why I'm showing this, as weird as this sounds, they have to say this. There are characters out there who'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'll do this. This is for charity," and then the charity gets nothing. So you could easily see that this. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. You can go to Extra Life. You can look me up. This isn't some photoshopped image. Anyway, all right. So that is that. One other bit of housekeeping that I do want to mention before we jump into the first look at Undaunted reinforcements is I have decided as of January 1st, the gaming gang will focus more so on role-playing games than on board games. And it is something, if you're a fan of the show, if you hang out and you watch the Dispatch from time to time, I've mentioned this in the past. I have a real, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love board games, but I have a true passion for role-playing games. And I got to be honest, it's getting to the point where, and I tweeted this earlier today, I feel like it's a rat race with all these other outlets, many of whom I've never heard of, who have tens of thousands of YouTube subscribers. And, you got to figure these companies, they don't have hundreds of review copies to give out. I don't know. It's like I've said in the past, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting 2 or 3 board game reviewers these days. And I got to be very honest. A lot of them are very shilly. I've watched a few of the newer folks, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've watched some. Well, maybe they're not as new as I think they are. Maybe they're new to me, basically. And I wanted to experiment a little bit. So I saw it was basically a game I did a news piece for that had kickstarted. And I went to the Kickstarter to get the news about the game because there wasn't much on Board Game Geek. And I did want to share the news piece. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go to the Kickstarter so I can pull info from that. And a lot of times images as well. So I saw there were all these previews from different people. And like I said, there were all these outlets that I'm not familiar with. And I'll be damned if I watched a little of their videos and they all said almost verbatim the same thing, which I find very unusual. So we've talked about it before. And once again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm not naming anybody's names. But I have pointed out before that there are reviewers out there who do not actually play the game to review it. They review it based on the rule book and watching Rodney Smith. Isn't that Rodney's last name? Like I said, I don't follow anybody. I don't have time to watch other people, their coverage and that. But yeah. So that's not really the case with role-playing games. There's no fudging on role-playing games. There's no, well, yes, it's this. Well, if you haven't read the book, then you're not going to know. And I think, honestly, there are fewer people out there covering role-playing games. Now, I'm not talking D&D. I mean, once again, that's another thing. You can't swing a dwarf around, a beardless dwarf. You can't swing him around without hitting, a D&D reviewer. Wow, Six Haven is great. You gotta buy it. No, you don't. Here it says, I personally have plenty of time to watch all of their stuff because a lot of those reviews are 3 minutes. Yeah, we're not even going to get into that shit either. But here's another thing, and we're gonna get into Undaunted. This is the last show of the year, so we're just kind of hanging. And my apologies if somebody's out there watching live and they're like, "All right, Jeff, come on, man. I want to see Undaunted reinforcements, you jerk." We'll get there. Don't worry. Hold on, Baba Louie. I'll do the thinning around here. Russell says, you either like it or you don't. Rule 1, I can't tell how good it is just by reading the rules I have to play. I say it all the time that we make sure before, I'd say 95% of the games that I've reviewed, because there were some that I thought totally sucked, and I was not going to play it a third time to do a review. But I'd say 95, 97% of the board games that I have reviewed, or Elliot Miller when he was part of the gang, or James, I can't remember James's last name, Earhart or something like that, Chris Ayaya, any of these folks, everybody played a game 3 times or more to do a review, because there's plenty of times I've played a game the first time and I'm like, I don't think this game's very good. And it's like, oh, crap. I had this rule wrong. A famous one was Cargo Noir, which was from Days of Wonder. I don't even think they produced it anymore. And played it. And I was like, boy, this final scoring just doesn't make any, this is stupid. It's like, wow, it's so easy to score points. And then it turned out like there was a major rule that I had screwed up. So the next time we played it, it was like, oh, yeah, this is way better. Flaming Huron's with us in chat. Viper Dave has arrived as well. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Thank you very much for swinging on in. I think I said hi to, I said hi to Doug Roberts already. Sweet. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah, that's basically all I know what I was going to tell you. Okay, so here's another thing that I see. Once again, I did the same thing with Kickstarters. I said, I'm not going to do any more Kickstarter preview videos just because I don't want to be associated with some of these creepier, shilly sort of reviewers in that. So I run across a review. Once again, this was something for a Kickstarter that had long funded, already done. And their title of the video was something like the world's smartest solitaire game ? Words to that effect. And it was an unboxing. So once again, it's like there's all this clickbaity shit with board game reviewers, and let's be honest, D&D folks too, and Magic the Gathering, don't you know? But I was sort of like, seriously, really, the world's something like smartest or greatest or some solitaire game ? Like I'm going to answer that question? It's an unboxing. How are you going to answer that question? It's not a review. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old. Get off my lawn. So stay tuned. Gonna have more RPG stuff. I also mentioned yesterday, if you missed the show, that because there were some questions, Jeff, what are you going to do with all those games you had up for auction that nobody bid on? They're going to go on eBay. And I've already decided whatever gets sold on eBay, and I'm going to do like 5 a week. So there'll be a link on thegaminggang.com if you want to go and take a peek, see what's on eBay that week. But like I said, it's only going to be maybe 5 things. I don't want to be sitting there like boxing stuff up all the time, sending stuff out. But I'm going to use what comes in to buy old D&D modules and shoot video of them. So I'm going to start off with getting a copy of G1, the Steading of the Hill Giant Chief. I almost said the Hill Chief Giant. Oh, Jeff. So sweet. So Viper Dave says, I do the same with Costco samples. First time might be good. Third time might not taste as good. It's another reason why we play the games multiple times. Because sometimes a game that comes across as, wow, this was awesome, we're not playing it right. Or we play it, a couple more times. It's like, it's the same exact experience every time. And that kind of dings it as well. So somebody had said that I think, Chad is kind of zipping by relatively quick. And I was going to say that somebody said, 95% of their reviews are from me. It's just, you know what? The whole thing, and I try to say all the time, it's just an opinion. I'm not right. It's just I have a certain sort of game I like. There's a certain play experience I enjoy. And I gravitate towards that. And those kind of games tend to get higher scores. Other things, which are, simply fine games that other people are sure to probably like, I'm not all that excited. Yes, first edition, Omanal. It would all be first edition that if I can get. I know there's going to be stuff that there's absolutely no way I'm going to get copies of because they're so rare. But G1, G2, G3, D1, D2, D3 aren't going to be that difficult to get a hold of. They probably cost me about $40 each. But like I said, I'm just going to use the funds that come in from the auctions on eBay and turn around and use that to. And I'm going to start with G1 because that was the first TSR module that came out. Some people don't realize that because it's for something like level 6 up, 6 to 9 or something. Like, seriously? That's your first adventure? So Kevin says, if you want real copies as opposed to print on demand, it's pretty hard. No, there's also another location that I know of that's a pretty good source of information about collecting old AD&D modules and that. So yes, and I don't want print on demand. I don't want the stuff that's being printed from Drive-Thru RPG. I want the originals. So, all right, enough of that. Let's jump on. I was gonna sing you my all-time favorite Christmas song that I feel is very magical. But I will wait till I wrap up the show to share that with you. And hopefully it brings a tear to your eye like it shall mine. But first, we're going to take a look at Undaunted Reinforcements from Osprey Games. Designed by Trevor Benjamin, David Digby, David Thompson, and David Turksey. Turksey, I think it is. A lot of Davids involved with that. Artwork is provided by Roland, not David, McDonald. The expansion provides solitaire rules as well as boosts the player count to 4, as well as containing other goodies as well. So it is for ages 14 and up. Undaunted plays normally in 45 to 60 minutes. This expansion carries an MSRP of $48, and it is available now. Omanal points out that G1 is for levels 9 to 12. And the funny thing is, if memory serves me correctly, when G1 came out, the only Advanced Dungeons and Dragons book that was available was the Monster Manual. I think. But enough of D&D. Let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Undaunted. If it'll pop up already, there we go. See, this is what I'm talking about, where I'm getting this oddball. In fact, it's lost the signal. So let's see. We had an issue like this once before. And hopefully we can fix this without actually having to like end the stream, because that would suck. But yeah, like I said, I think the issue that's going on here is with the Elgato capture device, which wasn't cheap. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I am going to change what camera this is supposed to be. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, wow, this is great content, isn't it? Okay. So I'm going to give that a second here. And then I'm going to go back. Change it up. Ta-da! See, that's what happens when you've had these issues pop up in the past. You learn. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, let me fix this. All right, so here we've got Undaunted reinforcements live now and the correct color scheme. This is a fairly large box. I mean, it's not huge, but it is quite a bit deeper than the Normandy and North Africa boxes. So that's why I kind of think that this is also kind of a storage solution as well, that you've got more cards, more tokens in this box, but also you'll have the ability to add the cards from both those base sets. So Russell said I might need to call Ghostbusters. No, it's not ghosts or anything. It's just, I think, not to get too technical and not too inside baseball here, but that when these camera companies started sharing software for people to actually use their expensive, $1,500 cameras that they could also shoot video on, that they, made sure that, oh God, you can't use that camera as a cam. Once the pandemic hit and everybody was Zooming, then these camera companies were like, yeah, I guess we'll release software because we can do it. We just didn't want you to do it because it devalues the camera. So once that happened, all these capture devices that were, like Elgato, that sold for $150, $200, basically became worthless. So I still got them. I just never got around to downloading the software and that to just stream directly from the camera. All right, enough of that. In North Africa, the long-range desert group are a thorn in the sides of the Italian forces, disrupting vital lines of communication and striking at strategic targets across the desert. In Normandy, U.S. forces brace against German counterattack, determined to maintain their foothold in the region. The fighting is intense, and the outcome hangs on a knife edge. With everything at stake, you desperately need reinforcements. All right, jump on in here. We'll see what we've got. There are new solitaire rules in here as well. And as I mentioned, that you can boost the player count up to 4. So here we've got a few books. like we got 3 books here. So we've got reinforcements, the rule book, scenario book, and the solo book. All right, let's move this out of the way. Start taking a peek at these. So it's showing us the components. So it looks like we've got 13 new British cards, 14 new Italian force cards, 16 US force cards, and 16 German force cards that are included in this. So I got armor and armament. I believe we have new tanks and new specialists. So one of the new additions in North Africa were vehicles. So we had light and medium tanks as well as like machine gun jeeps and things like that, or machine gun trucks, I should say. So we've got some information about playing solo. Enemy unknown. This section explains how to play Undaunted Normandy and Undaunted North Africa solo. So I guess we've got some solo cards as well that will seed into the deck. Terminology. Changes the bot actions. It's all solo stuff here. Solo play example. And that is the rule book. Not a ton of pages. 19 all in all. I really do like Undaunted Normandy. And I got to be honest, it kind of came out of nowhere as far as Osprey Games, because Osprey had some cool stuff, like the Lost Expedition as a prime example. Of course, there are miniatures and role-playing game releases, especially like miniatures like Frostgrave and some of these like standalone one-shot books that come out. But their actual board games were sort of like, eh. And then Undaunted came out and it was like, wow, this is actually a really good game. Okay, so we've got some new setup rules. So talking about joint operations where you're using a setup with 4 players, as well as the enemy unknown solo. So I don't remember if, I'm curious if these are new scenarios or if these are scenarios that are adapted for 4-player and solitaire play. So here we have Normandy scenario 101, 102, so 104. Then we got North Africa. I think these might be new. So it looks like we've got 4 scenarios for each. Aha, Pinky has come downstairs. You might hear her. Kind of quiet at the moment. Sometimes she caterwauls really loud. But this microphone doesn't normally pick her up too well. She would have to be right here. And she is getting closer. So she's just coming down to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. All right. So how many do we have? Yep, 4 for North Africa and 4 for Normandy. And then we've got the solo book. Is this going to be the solo rules or solo scenarios? I think there's solo scenarios. Yep. Talking about some changes to the setup to play solo. Let's see something here. Yeah, these are new because these are the scenarios from Undaunted Normandy. So it's basically giving you a breakdown on the changes you make to make it solitaire. So I'm assuming that it's going to do the same with North Africa as well. Yeah, sure enough. That is exactly, yeah, because I remember we've got the hammer and the anvil as two of the scenarios in North Africa. I remember I thought I think were there 10 scenarios in North Africa? No, there's 11. So I was going to say, I know there weren't 12 like there was in Normandy. So that is the solo book. Let's see what else we've got here. Looks like we have kind of a breakdown. Yeah, here you go. You can store all components for Undaunted Normandy, Undaunted North Africa, and Undaunted reinforcements in this box. And of course, these are cut so well, these popped right out. I'm taking a guess. These are dividers. So we also have some baggies as well. We have, no, maybe these are dividers. Got these big tarot sized cards. We've got some new additions here as well. Aha! So we got Stuarts and Shermans. We have sappers, grenadiers, submachine gunners. So these are the Brits. And they are dual sided as well. Then we've got mechanic, sniper, and submachine guns. So that is the U.S. These, I think, are Italian. I believe those are Italian. Then we got the Panther and two Panzers. So those are the punch boards. So let's take a look to see what these are. Or are these? They gotta be dividers. But man, that's a lot of dividers. So see what we've got here. It looks as if it looks like these are dividers, but they also give you all the rules for each of the units on the cards. That's pretty wild. No, how could it? Oh, you know what? Maybe these are for solo? Because it's weird, because we've got a bunch of like saboteur. Okay, then there's the machine gunner. Then we have a variety of different. These have got to be for solitaire. We get a little closer look at these. Huh. Kind of interesting. It's certainly different. Like we have the recon aircraft. And we had more recon aircraft over here too. This actually went on the back of that. I bet you that's what this is. These are to run the solitaire bot. Because for an example, right? So it says rifleman. This is for the Italians. It says 1, control. 2, tile is an objective and enemy occupied. Attack. 3, tile is secure and not enemy controlled. Select destination within one tile that is scouted. And then it gives you a breakdown. So yes, this is obviously for solitaire play. The weird thing is that it's dual sided. I would have thought that if you were like creating a solitaire deck for like an AI, they would have something on the other side, not just repeating the same thing. Actually, it's not even repeating the same thing. But I also noticed that we've got these numbers in the upper corner. So that may have something to do with it as well, where you got to look up what they do. So we got sergeant, staff sergeant, grenadier, submachine gunner. Okay. I don't think we need to look at this other deck as well, because it's all just kind of the same thing, where it's giving us essentially the bot info on what to do in various different situations. But I will just put it together like that. So we also have some new cards as well. So let's take a look at these. So we've got assault aircraft. And if you are not overly familiar with Undaunted, it's a World War II game, and it's kind of a deck building game. And your deck are your soldiers. So when you draw a card, say for an example here, you're going to be able to activate your submachine gunner. And these are the options that you've got available to you for your action. And there's a variety of different actions available. And the interesting thing is, if, say, the submachine gunner was killed, you're going to take these cards out of your deck. So Brian Foley has joined us. Welcome aboard, Brian. Happy holidays to you. Brian says that they heard some of the colors of the new cards are off when compared to the old ones. That is not unusual, unfortunately. But a game like this, if you dig it, you're going to sleeve these cards. So making sure that you buy some sleeves that have a design on the back probably would be a good idea. I don't know if we're going to see Osprey do a print run of fixed cards or not. I haven't heard anything about that. I did hear someone had mentioned that the colors were off. I think it's on one of the factions. For some reason, I think it's the Brits. I might be wrong, but I thought one of them, I think it's brighter than it had been. So because I could have swore, now once again, this was last week. I don't remember exactly what color, but I thought there was more of a brown to more like of a khaki kind of color, but maybe I'm wrong. So here we've got the sapper, the grenadier, who happens to be a Gurkha, if you noticed. So is he. I'm guessing. I don't think it's just a British trooper who's decided to wear headgear like that. So Brian says they're not sure either, just wondered. I will find out. And of course, when I do a review, if that's the case, it will be something that will be talked about. So we got the Sergeant Major. So we've got those. Here come the Americans. So we've got another rifleman. Another aspect I thought is kind of interesting too is if you look close, they actually have the character's name. So it's a little personalization there. So we got quite a few riflemen added to the mix. We've got Stewarts and Shermans. There we go. And if you notice, the crew members are different. That almost looks like Brad Pitt from Fury. All right. Cool deal. Got quite a few tanks added to the mix. And then we got our tank platoon commander. Then we're going to finish up with the Germans. Like we got some more riflemen for them as well. I do like the artwork in Undaunted. Pretty cool. Just solid line artwork. Panzer IV. We also saw a Panther too. And the tank platoon commander. So these are the new units. I'm kind of curious how these cards are going to be laid out. So here it shows, okay, tiles, U.S. and German cards, the British and Italian cards, then the tokens and dice all go here. All right, nice. Very cool. Of course, I'll sort all that out. And I actually have my copies of Normandy as well as North Africa close by. So I'll probably end up sorting all this stuff out and putting it all in here. Kabuki Kid has joined us in chat as we're getting ready to close out. Good to see you, Double K. Thanks for swinging on by to visit. Okay, so this says vehicle and solo cards go here. And they do. They all fit. Well, yeah, I was going to say this. The bigger tarot cards, there aren't a bunch in Normandy and North Africa. Sweet. So we got the punch boards. All right, come on, get in there. Got this little squared away sheet. Been a nice idea, I guess, if I had put this in there. So we got the solo book that pretty much breaks down all of the scenarios from Normandy and North Africa so you can play them solitaire. Got the scenario book, which includes 8 new scenarios, 4 for Normandy and 4 for North Africa. And then we got the rule book. Very cool. So Brian says they always enjoy the videos. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you for coming on in and hanging out with us. I believe this is the first time that Brian's joined us. All right. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, they like the artwork as well. I will have a review of Undaunted reinforcements in the very near future as well. So let's swing on over to the other camera and I'll get ready to start wrapping up. So, January, I know we've been discussing this. It's going to be old school for the new year. All through the month, the Gaming Gang, as well as the Gaming Gang Dispatch, are going to focus on role-playing games that have an old school theme or vibe to them. The first week, kicking off January 3rd, we're going to be taking a look. That week, we're going to take a look at old school essentials. So we are going to take a look at the Classic Rules Tome, as well as the first issue of Carcass Crawler that week. And I am hoping that Tuesday, which would be January 4th, that I will have an interview with Gavin Norman, who is the mastermind behind Old School Essentials. So that's going to be the first week. How things play out each week after that is kind of up in the air. I'm still trying to get Troll Lord Games on board so we can talk some Castles and Crusades. That kind of fell apart. It seemed like they were, on board, and now I haven't heard anything. So I don't know. So, okay. Then I also have Adventure Conqueror King, which I know I'm going to get some pushback on covering that game. Like I said, I am not a gatekeeper. This hobby is open to everyone, regardless of your political affiliation. As long as, you're not, actually hurting people. I'm not here to, shut you down. I don't have to agree with your politics either, but still. And I got a bunch of Axe stuff for us to look at. And who else was it who we've got? Off the top of my head, I'm zoning out. But if, say, we don't get Troll Lord Games on board, we can be taking a peek at all of this great Original Adventures Reincarnated product. I've received all 6 books from a fan of the show who wants to remain anonymous. But I also have Original Edition Campaign, which is kind of an OD&D homage with like campaign rules. I've got Mothership. So we're going to be taking a peek at Mothership as well. And I also have, now these I picked up. These were not sent to me. Number one, there was actually a Kickstarter going on for a new edition of Mothership. So I'm sure what is it? Tuesday Night Games, I think, is the company that does this. I'm sure they weren't like going, oh yeah, hey, let's get on board with that, with our old edition. And I also picked up Ultraviolet Grasslands. Isn't that the title? I think it's, pretty sure it's Ultraviolet Grasslands and the Black City. I've heard this is pretty bizarre. So we shall see what is going on with all of these goodies come January 1st. I will also have other coverage of old school role-playing games that just don't happen to be on the Dispatch. And that's probably where we'll take a look at like Mothership and things like that. Those will probably just be standalone videos. I also received the Gaia Complex from, I'm trying to remember who publishes this. It is, well, it says Handsword Publishing, but that's not who got in touch with me. So I'll be sharing a first look video of this, but it will not be on the Dispatch because this is not an old school game. It's a cyberpunk game, I do believe. All right. So I wanted to finish up by singing you what I feel might be the penultimate Christmas song. And it brings a tear to my eye, and it might bring a tear to your eye as well. So seeing that this is the last show for 2021, let me share this with you. Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg, Batmobile lost the wheel, and Joker got away. Merry Christmas, everybody. The funny thing is, as a kid, I seem to recall that it was Batmobile popped the wheel, not lost the wheel. Then again, Flaming Heroes is going out with a bang. Kevin points out the Mothership Kickstarter looks awesome. I know it did, and I missed out. I was going to back it, and funds were a little tight. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. It'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Elector Counts from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Once again, I will not be streaming live next week. I am taking a holiday break, but that does not mean that there are not going to be news pieces and reviews going up on thegaminggang.com. And there will also be standalone videos. So I've got some reviews on the way, and I'm going to put together my favorite games of 2021, both board game and card games, as well as role-playing games. So those will be 2 videos. Those will probably pop up right before New Year's Eve. All right. Once again, if you watch live, thank you so much. I always really appreciate, and it doesn't matter if you watch live. Anybody who spends time watching any of the videos on this channel has a place in my heart. You really do. If you happen to watch live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, thank you very much as well. Flaming Huron said, heard lost the wheel and drove into the bay, and Joker's here to stay. That might be an Australian thing. So seeing that, like in the Chicago area, we don't have a bay, so we wouldn't sing that. Anyway, that's kind of funny. Anyway, so there's a lot of people wishing each other a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yes, I won't be back with a live show until January 3rd. So hopefully everybody enjoys a wonderful New Year's as well as Christmas and whatever holiday you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate any winter holiday, I certainly hope you enjoy your time off from work. So enjoy that. Anywho, of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for tuning in, hanging out, keeping me company, or popping by after the fact if you're watching on Memorex. Everybody have a very Merry Christmas, very Happy New Year. Here's hoping you have an opportunity to enjoy plenty of great gaming and good cheer with your very own gang. See you next year. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.